people than ever before are discovering public lands as a place to reconnect with nature and each other.
Yes, I say that's something you should really try to do.
Yeah, just debating is listening to how the other team is casing it, and you can always respond in that kind of way.
It might seem the teacher in this class has lost control with middle schoolers making this much noise, creating what seems like chaos. But Michael Baradat wouldn't have it any other way.
I love my job. It's the greatest. It really is. Sorry. It's working with people that you know are going to do something amazing later on.
Mr. Baradat gets emotional because the people he works with are just 12 and 13 years old, and they're just as passionate about speech and debate as he is.
I like the attention. I think it's really fun to take control of the room and have everybody hear your opinion on everything. The fact that I get to use my voice and I get to talk to people and share my opinions, and it's just a great thing and it makes me feel good.
This is Sacramento's Sutter Middle School. These boys and girls are on the Sutter speech and debate team. And the energy in the room is especially high because in just 3 days, the team will compete against the other 8 schools that make up the Capital Region Debate League.
The things we're going to talk about on Saturday are driverless cars will do more harm than good, electronic ballots should replace traditional ballots, middle schools and high schools should abolish the dress code, and public lands should not be used for private interest.
The enthusiasm of the kids as they prepare for the upcoming tournament, the news clippings on the wall, and the dozens of trophies on top of a bookshelf are pretty solid evidence that speech and debate is a big deal at Sutter Middle School. One of those trophies is for the 2009 National Championship. The Sutter team was co-national champs in 2016.
I've had a number of kids. They'll come and visit the school in December. They'll visit the debate class and they say, that's the class I want to be in.
Their principal played college basketball. She sees the same competitive drive among 12 and 13-year-olds when it comes to speech and debate.
Those kids are amazing. The way that they can articulate all their thoughts and arguments and how passionately that they argue them, I was floored when I first saw it.
They love the competitions. They're required to compete 1 tournament per quarter. Most of the kids compete in every competition that they possibly can.
Competition part is one of my favorites. I love competition, especially when I win. When I win, I'm super happy. When I lose, not so much.
You have to think of different ways to persuade a judge about the topics. So you're definitely going to have to appeal to the judge at the same time destroying your opponent's points.
But it's not just for the competition on Saturdays or the trophies that result. These kids recognize the value of forming an argument and then having the courage to speak in public.
I was really bad at going up on a stage, speaking in front of people, presenting stuff. So I always felt like doing speech and debate would improve my skills in going up on a stage and talking.
I had really low self-confidence. I just didn't really have the confidence to go up and present in front of a class. But now that I've done debate, I have so much confidence, and I'm not really afraid to do class presentations anymore.
It's no surprise parents are on board. National studies have shown debate participants with higher reading scores, higher test scores, and higher graduation rates. The Chicago Debate League learned over a 10-year period among high-risk students. 72% of debaters graduated from high school compared to 43% of non-debaters. And the same study showed debaters increased their GPA by nearly half a grade point. Non-debaters stayed roughly the same.
This is like a lifetime skill, I feel. Any job you work or anywhere you go, if you know to speak well and present yourself, people will listen to you.
I think it's such a great way to get them in front of a classroom, to stand in front of their peers and actually debate. And it's so exhausting yet so rewarding. It's a wonderful thing.
So how could speech and debate ever be considered exhausting?
Shake their hand, introduce yourself, and wish them good luck. All right, have a good day.
It's 8 o'clock on the day of the tournament. 144 kids from 9 schools are drilling each other or themselves on the arguments they'll have to present or dispute. Salome is in her own little world getting ready. It seems she'll walk a half mile in the cafeteria before the debates even begin. Now here's why there's so much nervousness. Though the kids know the 4 topics they'll speak on, they don't know if they'll be for or against, or in debate terms, the proposition or opposition. That's why there's such a rush to see the topics and team assignments when they're posted. Then the room turns quiet because now they have 20 minutes to prepare for the first debate. They'll debate all 4 topics before the day is over.
Judge, 1.2 million people are killed every year on roads worldwide.
For Salome, Renee, and Galena, they're pro driverless cars.
Humans are no good at driving. The 1.2 million people killed every year are proof of that.
If about 90% of American roads were driverless, 1.3 million to 6 million lives would be saved, and that is just in America.
The girls frantically take notes when the other team speaks because they're preparing their responses and because they're allowed to interrupt, either with a heckle, which involves just a few words,
Also, all of their
or they stand to offer a point of information.
Losing jobs does not outweigh the amount of lives that we of the opposition are willing to save.
Now the speaker decides to allow the point of information or deny.
from these 5 jobs.
It's whatever might score more points with the judge.
It's about listening and then taking what the other person said and turning it in your favor. So that's the brains part of it, that's the chess match part of it, but then it's saying it with confidence and conviction. To look directly at the judge and tell the judge why your point of view matters more than the other person's, your opponent's point of view.
Electronic voting should replace traditional ballots.
That they have provided no evidence whatsoever.
It's 4:30, the debates are finished, the judges have turned in the scores. The kids get recognized for their individual skills, teams are honored for the most wins. Just a couple of days after this tournament, the students were given the next 4 topics to study up on, with another tournament and another batch of trophies just 8 weeks away.
One of the oldest student debating societies was established in 1769 by President James Madison while he was a student at Princeton University. It's a tradition that's still going strong at Princeton and at schools across the country. It's considered a way for students to sharpen their critical thinking and academic skills.